What's happening? Andy here. I am joined today by Jim Coriddi, Vice President at Ricoh. How are you doing today, Jim?
I'm good, Andy. I'm good. How you doing?
I am doing great. The sun is out in Rochester. The geese are flying back. I think spring is on the way. You look like you're actually in a real office today.
Yeah, yes, I am. Ricoh has its new office in Parsippany, New Jersey, and I live not too far away. And I'll tell you, it feels good. Not only do you need that change, but it just feels good to get into the office, be able to interact with some people, and just start establishing that momentum to get back to something, closer to normal.
Yeah, normal, right? So back to the office. That's the first step, and hopefully our customers will start going back to the office as well. So you guys are New Jersey, and you said Parsippany. One of my former employees used to call it Parsippany. Yeah. So anyway, let's just cut to the chase. I'm glad you were on today, and I really just wanted to address the elephant in the room. There was a really big article that hit the wire last week out of the Japan Times. The headline was, "Is print dead with shift to digital? Office equipment giant Ricoh votes yes." So here we are, Jim, a week later. My phone was ringing off the hook. I'm sure you got some calls. Tell me, is print dead and is Ricoh out?
Absolutely not. When it's all said and done, I mean, Ricoh is adding to print. We're expanding off of our print devices. And what it references, Andy, is an announcement that was on March 3rd out of Ricoh Japan with the investor community, where they talked about the Ricoh global strategy going forward. And the major emphasis was on digital services, which is the same direction we've been sharing with dealers in the US. Andy, you were at Converge X19, you were at all those conferences that we have. All we talked about was customer digitization, cloud services. We emphasized our new partner in DocuWare with content management. We talked about Ricoh Smart Integration. We talked about everything through subscription billing. Well, that's what it is, right? And we talked to our dealers very much about going from being that trusted print provider to now being a consultant to their customers in managing the customer's business information. So it's nothing new, it's just accelerating. So, when we look at it, we're committed to partner with our dealers to make our digital services resources accessible and have Ricoh dealers lead this digital transformation. But it's funny, like you said, how it came out. The investors loved it, right? So Ricoh is publicly traded in Japan, and the stock that they soared like 16% in Tokyo on a day when the Nikkei actually fell by a couple of percent. But the investor media suggested, as you said, that Ricoh's moving away from print. And at least one headline was just particularly just misleading. And I say it's funny because when we look at our industry community, IDC, for one, praised Ricoh for its leadership position, right? So from our standpoint, like I said, we're extremely excited about Ricoh's digital transformation plans, and it very much includes an expansion of print. Print is a major component of digital services.
Major component of digital services, expansion in print. So I don't know, then maybe the person covering, the announcement maybe wasn't all that familiar with Ricoh. Maybe it just was somebody who doesn't know the technology. Whatever the reason, they misunderstood your digital transformation as being a suggestion that you're leaving print. And that's what you're saying.
We are not leaving print, and we're all about the digital transformation.
All right, well, good. Let's talk about the digital transformation then. You guys, you hyped that up at your last ConvergeX. You hyped it up to ConvergeX before. There's got to be some evolution that you can share with us. And let's talk about those two words that may have sparked, maybe a bit of a misunderstanding with some of the press that was listening to it. Tell me about your digital transformation. What does it mean to customers, and what does it mean to the dealers and resellers watching this video?
Sure. Well, first of all, we've been using Converge X19 as kind of a point in time. And since then, we've made our dealers, thanks to the relationships that we've had with our dealers and our dealers' willingness, many of them, to take a leadership position. We're very proud of the progress that's been made. So when we talk about digital transformation and you talk about, where things have been with print devices, I always look at, when we look at our history, when we first went into digital, right? It took a while. It took a while for that to take hold, for folks to see what that could mean as we go forward. Then the next one was color. And there were all these different elements that took time to build that foundation under it. And I think we're at a very important point now, particularly coming through this COVID experience, where customers are demanding the wherewithal to be able to do business, to move information, in a much more remote manner. And, and that all has to be done through digital. And what we found, and I'll give you some examples for what digital transformation is. I said we made progress. So DocuWare, we're thrilled with the growth we've seen, in as much as how many dealers have now signed up to be DocuWare providers. We're seeing it in the pipelines that are growing more and more, deals that involve DocuWare, and then the results, the sales. And it's the same thing with, with our RSI, with the way we've established the workflow software and how that's growing very dramatically. But at the end of the day, it requires this, we need to add technology and services to what needs to be a more robust MFP platform, more traditional, the MFP. But, as we discussed, the MFP is now going to become an edge device. But to do that, the MFP needs a more robust technology in as much as its platform. So that's why we were talking earlier, actually, before we got on, and I said how excited we are about 2021, because within the next quarter, the Ricoh A3 MFP portfolio will have been entirely refreshed with our new platform. We're talking about our always current technology, the ACT technology. And what that means more than anything is the ability to automatically update the elements within the device, being able to mix and match software applications. And also it allows for that transition to a subscription business model to create new annuities. So those are all elements that will continue to drive this transformation. Certainly on the A4 side, from a product standpoint, we have several new ads. And then production is we're really looking to go to a whole new level. When you think in terms of growth platforms, production is where it's at. And right now, Ricoh is in a very unique position. We call it beyond CMYK. And what we're talking about is 5-station special effects printing, which will create a significant annuity for our dealers, as we go forward. Another area is the graphic arts wide format category that Ricoh's getting in a very big way, which is basically a print on anything type of business. And then with that being inkjet, you're also going to see a lot more coming from Ricoh in the high-end inkjet side of things. So the thing I'm talking about is how the platform and the mainframe works in with the solutions part of things. When we look at the solutions piece, Ricoh is establishing itself as a best of breed when it comes to software and services. You look at, as I mentioned, the DocuWare content management. You look at, RSI. But then there's other elements of our services. Ricoh has what we call our digital imaging solutions, which is really how you digitize documents, which has to happen first before you're able to, communicate remotely. That's been, that's been growing at a huge pace, even during the COVID year, we'll call it FY20. Our revenues went dramatically up in that area. We're getting bigger deals. So these are all things that speak to the fact that this digital transformation, it's already happening, and it's happening at what we would consider to be a very exciting pace.
Well, do you think do you think 2020 exacerbated it? Do you think it pushed it, sped it up a little? I mean, you mentioned remote as being a big direction that you were planning to go, towards, but suddenly it was everybody is now remote, and you are already putting your company in a position to support people like that. So do you think that really pushed things along on your end, or do you think you were kind of just moving in the right place at the right time? Where was all that?
Well, it's both. I think we were going in the right direction, but I think the advent of COVID and the impact that had just dramatically accelerated everything.
Okay.
And it put us in a position where, we were looking at things transitioning over the next 18 months to 2 years, and we had to get it moving in a couple of months. So I totally believe that, what transpired in the business environment this past year absolutely accelerated everything we were talking about. Okay.
Unbelievable. You mentioned first quarter's coming up, right? For you guys, you're on your calendar starts April 1. You have a bunch of new hardware, sounds like, coming in the first quarter, but that's actually, you guys have a lot going on, I will say. Tell me about the big news. Joji is moving on. He's moving to a new post, and you're getting a new boss. So tell me about that. Who's the new guy? I'll let you tell me.
Yeah. So yes, Joji will be taking on another assignment. Joji did a great job, and I think, particularly through, the COVID challenges that we had, I think in his time as CEO and president, he put us in a good, solid, financial position.
Well, he won local awards for I don't know of another CEO from any of the companies that I follow, especially one that was brought over here, who won a local award. I mean, I think that just shows he was very involved in the local community and in at very low levels within Ricoh, whereas sometimes you get a CEO with just a different take, and they're more in the background. And he was a very unique leader, and it was, it's going to be interesting to see. Tell me about the new guy.
Yep. And our new, starting officially April 1, Karsten Bruin, he comes to us from, has been a part of the UK, Ricoh UK, for a long time. He's been between Lanier and Ricoh. He's been with Ricoh 30 plus years. And I've had the opportunity to meet with him, over Zoom type of, vehicles here, but I've had 4 or 5 meetings with him, and I'm really excited. Karsten comes from a sales background, not something we've had very often at Ricoh, at the top. And he comes in with a sense of enthusiasm to really start restoring, and we're actually calling it restored growth. We're looking to now look for opportunities to help our dealers, restore that growth pattern that we've been on for such a long time. And Karsten also has had in his other leadership positions in Europe, he's been very much leading things in the solutions and software area. And he's already in the planning stage, even though he doesn't officially start in April. There's a lot going on, obviously, behind the scenes right now. And he's initiated a number of things that I'm finding to be very exciting, to be able to bring some of the provocative things that were being done in Europe and bringing them to the US. And those are some of the things that we're working with right now. He's very he's all about the customer. His most recent global role was managing our overall global account business. So he's very in tune with the importance of understanding, listening to our customers, and devising, solutions for them. He wants to get out. He wants to meet with dealers right away.
I was just about
he wants to get with customers. And it's funny, the first meeting we had, and I tell this story that I put together kind of a 12-slide PowerPoint, not a lot of words, but a 12-slide PowerPoint on an overview of the dealer business. Well, it's taken us 4 meetings to get through those 12 slides. That's how many questions he asks. He's very into it. He started out when he described to me his thought of dealers. He mentioned entrepreneur, as a descriptive word, and passion. And that's certainly right on. That tells me he knows about dealers. Yeah. So he's very excited about getting out and meeting with them. And, and I'm sure we'll set something up for him to meet with you, Andy, in your forum. But so anyway, we're real excited. There's a lot of planning that's going on right now that, we are, we're looking to continue to move this thing forward. So when we talk about things like digital transformation and what's going on with digital services and all that, I think Karsten comes in with some good new ideas, but also with a basic common understanding we've always had. And that is, our dealers play a very, very important part in our overall plans. So we're excited.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, dealers love showcasing. They love, having the highest level people they can get come through their doors. And I was about to ask you when you went into it anyway, is this a guy who's going to be behind the scenes, or is he going to go out there, and is he going to be out in the field? Is he going to be visiting? And, it means a lot to these guys when the senior people walk through their doors. And I mean, it's one thing when you go there and they're expecting you to, but when somebody at that level shows that, you're that important to me, I think that that adds a lot to the relationship. And, certainly I think that's a great approach, but it depends on the person. And it's just, it's exciting for you guys. Fresh leadership, hopefully we'll run into Joji back down the road somewhere. He was fun, man. He took pictures with my hats and everything. He was just a really, really great guy. I look forward to meeting Karsten. I've chatted with him a little bit through LinkedIn so far. And so
okay.
Exciting times for you guys, though, with the new leadership, with the new hardware, the new software. Sorry to say, it sounds like you're not getting out of print then from the previous conversation.
That is correct.
We'll reinforce that
if you get nothing else out of this, is we're building on print. We're expanding print. We're certainly not getting out.
It really sounds that way. What a miscommunication there. But, it was great reason for me to get you on here today rather than waiting for a few more weeks. So, Jim, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this. As always, I look forward to seeing you next time. Any last shout outs, anything you want to say to everybody as we wind up?
No, I just, first of all, thank you. We appreciate the opportunity. It's always fun talking to you. And, I think if anything, what I would say is, I just hope the optimism that I'm now getting from our dealers is going to be reflective in, how things are going to go, going forward. It was only probably a month and a half ago. We were having a lot of our discussions. I'm always talking to our dealers. We have our National Dealer Council, a lot of different ways of talking. And I don't think the forecast felt very good, but in the past month, the enthusiasm, the optimism is at a whole nother level. So we're excited.
Spring is in the air. So
that's it.
Awesome seeing you. Say hi to everybody back home. And I look forward to a time when we can actually sit down and do this, but baby steps, right? You're back in an office, and, I'm going to BTA this next week or whenever that is coming up soon. And you guys are big supporters of that. And I'll be looking for your people at the booth. And thanks again for this. This is great. And I look forward to talking to you in person soon. Thanks.
Absolutely. Tell everybody down there I said hello when you get there.
I will. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, Andy. Take care.